late 1980s, motoring enthusiasts Ken and Barbara Smith left their native Yorkshire to help promote the spirit of classic British cars in America. They settled in the idyllic Californian coastal resort of Santa Barbara and now work for a company which makes and sells British car parts for an increased number of British car owners throughout the US.
There used to be a place in my hometown called CSS, Cheap and Cheerful Sports Cars, and invariably they had MGs, didn't they, Bob? And that came about because they were easy to maintain, they were fun, terrible fun to drive. You can get spares for it all over the world, no matter where you are, whether you're in Australia or here in America or in England. There's a backup of services that can supply you anything. You can build a new one from scratch. You know, with a body shell, you can build a new one from scratch.
Quite a few of these. They're very simple. This is a simple 4-cylinder engine. It's a simple distributor. If it breaks down on the road, invariably you can find out what's wrong with it because it's so simple. Modern cars today, you're looking at a $700 amplifier just to get it going. But the number of British cars over here is well into the 100,000. And people are looking now for something different to the Euro box or the Japanese box, because if you look on the freeway today, they all look the same. Whereas if you get into an MG or a Triumph or an Austin Healey, people will pull up with you at the stoplight and say, nice car. I used to have one of those when I was in college. And this is coming from a guy who's got a big estate car with his mother-in-law and the dog and the kids in, and really he wants to relive a little bit of that fresh air, youthful motoring and the spirit of adventure which comes with a British car.
I mean, here we are. This was launched in 1962. This was the swinging 60s. We got the Beatles, we got all kinds of songs and clothing associated with the 60s, and the B fitted in exactly into that mould. We joined clubs, you know, and we used to go out. We used to get 40 or 50 cars on a run to go out on Sundays. And when we had a meeting, another great friend of mine called John Hill, he used to have a big meeting down at Ragley Park in Warwickshire. And he asked me to go and be the commentator, whatever it was. We went down there, and I remember the first time ever we got 1,000 MGBs. Then we started lining them all up in colour, all the reds, all the whites, all the blues, and so forth and so on. And I've still got memories of that. We went over to Germany several times because we had a lot of friends over there. The German MG Club is a big one. And at the time, we had an MGB GT V8 with the big 3,500 Rover. And we got on the Autobahn, and all these Germans are thinking that's a piddling little MG, you know, until it left them in the dust. Why did they call me Mr. MG? Because I got so well into it, and there were so many people I knew that people kept coming to me, and they still do.
They still do ring up cast.
In fact, I had one of the top guys at British Leyland in Leonia the other night sent me an email. What colour were the 75 Jubilee MGBs? Now here's a guy who was at the top of the tree when they were building them, and he's asking me, you know, what colour the cars were. I bought an MG, and we had then had a series of MGs. We had a TC, a PB, a T. The only MG we never had was an MGA. The MGs were certainly part and parcel of my life from a very early age. The car that's always excited me and been my main interest has been the MGB. This car was owned by a friend of mine who was one of the curators at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, Ron Tugwell. And he was a great fella, and he had this car almost immediately from new, and he passed away from cancer, and his wife offered it, or his daughter, who inherited the car, said she didn't want it, she couldn't drive it, and would we like it? And we said,
Oh, we bought it after.
Yeah, we bought it, yeah. And it's only in the last couple of 3 years that I've not been able to really use it to its full advantage. It's been everywhere. It's been to Indianapolis, it's been to Vancouver. We've driven it, haven't we, Bob?
Yeah.
And so it's been a good friend to us. And I'm sorry to see it go, but there again, needs must.
It's going to where it's have a good home and it will get used.
Here's a tough question for you. What are you going to miss most about this car?
Not having it.
I think everything, not being able to jump in and out of it and drive it as it's meant to be. You know, just going up to Santa Maria was an adventure. And so that's what it means. I mean, it meant a lot. I could get very emotional. I'm not going to do that.
No.
Because I'm being told. But I must.
With this decision, I had nothing to do with it. It just came out of the blue. He said, I've made a decision. I said, what's that? He said, I'm going to sell MG. I said, well, it's a shame. It doesn't do a car good to just be ignored.
I say I've had one for 20 odd years. 40 odd years. Ever since they came out in 62. That's 50, 60 years, whatever. And I'm going to miss it, that's for sure. Not everybody can come and see our facility in California. So the idea behind the motorhome, or RV as we call it, is that we would take a little bit of moss and a front man, a lot of PR and goodwill out to the people across the United States of America. Couldn't have done any of this without her, because it was her who said go for it, do this, do that, do the other. And we've driven across country, what, 9, 10 times?
We did it 3 or 4 times in MG.
Yeah.
The couple travel across America in an enormous customised motorhome every year, where they attend dozens of British car shows and rallies, and promote cars as varied as MGs to Morris Minors. Barbara, what do you normally do on the journeys?
I just keep him company, talk to him, get him a drink if he needs one. I can get up and walk around and stretch my legs, turn the car till we stop.
Sounds like a wonderful thing, a wonderful life. Is it all that wonderful?
It is, it's tiring at times and we're glad when we have a rest, but we do enjoy it.
And I say I couldn't have done it without her, because she kept me supplied with coffee and sandwiches and just encouragement. And we've been telling my son, we were on the phone today, we celebrate our 60th wedding anniversary in March, coming up March. And for 50 of those years, she's been lumbered with me and MGs. So it's worked out well. We couldn't have had a better pair.